folks, it's SeanMac here from the Pro Wrestling Weekly Podcast, and today I'm going to be speaking to you about ECW Barely Legal, their first ever pay-per-view event, which happened on this day, April 13th in 1997. Now, ECW have had a lot of TV specials before this, stuff that, that would air on weekly TV, a bit like, your TV specials you get for AEW. But they didn't actually have a pay-per-view until 1997, Barely Legal. Now, this is I wouldn't say it's the best ECW pay-per-view, to be frank. I think there's, some stuff on this show that possibly is not great, but it's a very, very important show. And a big reason it's important is obviously it's the first ECW pay-per-view, but also it almost didn't happen in the first place. The reason for that is a little incident that happened in a house show known as the Mass Transit Incident. Now, I'm sure that name alone invokes memories, but just in case you need a quick recap, the Gangsters, which was New Jack and Mustafa Saeed, were supposed to face Axel Rotten and Devon Dudley. Axel Rotten had to pull out the show because he had a bereavement in his family, so while looking for a replacement, they found a guy called Eric Koulas. Eric claimed he was 21 years old and had trained with Killer Kowalski. He was a guy who trained a lot of great wrestlers, most notably Triple H, and they took him at his word. So he went in the match. New Jack went cutty, stabby, stabby, accidentally cut way too hard into him, cut two arteries in his head, bled everywhere. And yeah, just not a great night at the office for Mass Transit. But the big crucial thing is Mass Transit was actually 17 years old, so legally in America, a minor. A big court case ensued, which New Jack and ECW won because Eric Koulas was revealed to lie about his age, but it was a big enough incident, even though Jack got off away from it, a big enough incident and a lot of scrutiny that the show almost didn't happen. So when the show did happen, some limits had to be made. There was meant to be a limit on blood. A full script of the show had to be sent to the station beforehand, and I think there was a time limit stretch for it, but it didn't stop ECW with an amazing pay-per-view that still holds up today and really gave us ECW as a whole, because the TV specials were great, but pay-per-view ECW, in my opinion, was really what it was meant to be. First match of this show saw Bren Reed's favourite tag team of all time, the Dudley Boys, defend the ECW Tag Team Championships against John Cronus and Perry Saturn, the Eliminators. Now, the Dudley Boys, I think, were working with an injury. One of them, it might have been Bubba Ray, but they needed an excuse to be written off TV to recover. Not TV, TV, but the pay-per-view could be written out of ECW. So they get squashed like in two or three minutes by the Eliminators. Of course, they hit elimination, as Joey Styles would say. And that's it. The Eliminators are your ECW Tag Team Champions. The right decision, I think, totally, but I would have liked a proper match to go with it. It just seemed a little bit like they needed to get it over and done with to accommodate for the rest of the card. Both of these teams could go, as much as Bren Reed doesn't want to admit the Dudley Boys were one of them, but the Eliminators were such a badass team, and it was well timed for them to get a hold of those ECW Tag Team Championships. Now we got probably one of the best matches on the entire show, and a match I think that really was before its time, and that is the International Six-Man Tag Match. And it's all thanks to their connections with Michinoku Pro Wrestling, Dick Togo, Taka Michinoku, and Terry Boy versus Gran Hamada, Masato Yakushi, and the Great Sasuke. What a match this. Jinkies, this match is so good. I changed location and I changed t-shirt, and it will be like this for the rest of the review. This match is so far ahead of its time, and it is just non-stop from the first bell to the last. I wish it could have gone on forever. I said I think it might have been the best match on the card in my last time you saw me there, but now I think of it, yeah, no, it is the best match on the card by a landslide. I mean, these guys are so good. Such an amazing mix of Japanese talent you have here. The thing I love is that Taka Michinoku, Terry Boy, and Kaientai, yeah, that was, he became Kaientai, were wearing BWO shirts, Blue World Order, and they were being advertised as the Japanese contingent of the Blue World Order, which I find so funny. And I encourage anyone who tells me or thinks to themselves that ECW is only hardcore wrestling, it's only blood and guts and tables and chairs and all that stuff, and they didn't actually have any real wrestling. Do me a favor, go back, watch this match, and send me a text. Now we go from that absolutely brilliant six-man tag to a very boring, underwhelming and disappointing World Television title match in which the franchise Shane Douglas defends against Pitbull number 2. So Shane Douglas was a right horrible bastard in ECW as the franchise, and this match happened because he injured Pitbull number 1, broke his neck actually, so Pitbull number 2 understandably wasn't too pleased about this, challenged him to a match for the TV title with Pitbull number 1 at ringside. This match never really got into second gear. I don't think the crowd bought Pitbull 2 as a challenger, a valid challenger I mean, for the world title, and the match just, especially after that six-man tag, the crowd are a little dead, and the match just goes on for far too long. I believe it goes just over 20 minutes. I'd have to double check that, but if it's not that, it feels like double that. Not a good outing for Shane Douglas. He would have much better programs in ECW, but I can kind of forgive this match being maybe a little short of what people expected, because the next match absolutely lives to the hype. I am, of course, speaking about the two men on the poster, the grudge match of the summer, the homicidal, genocidal, suicidal, death-defying late Sabu versus Taz. And hold on a minute, player. Just one thing I forgot to mention with the Shane Douglas and Pitbull number 2 match. There was a masked man stalking Shane Douglas for a long time that was very obviously Rick Rude. I mean, so obvious even this man would blush. And stipulation was that if Shane Douglas was to win, he would unmask himself. And shock horror, it was Rick Rude. Nothing really came of it too much. He was back in WWE and then WCW after that, but you know, cool thing I thought I'd mention. Now, Sabu and Taz, this was a match 18 months in the making, and somehow in those 18 months, they never met, they never hit each other, they never struck each other, so really, this was the first time they were going to be in the ring together, and it absolutely delivered. You've got all your high-flying antics from Sabu, Taz being like God, cutting him back down to earth every time he'd jump, he'd just catch him and get him in every iteration of Tazplexes, not suplexes, Tazplexes. And eventually he won with the Kata Jame, as Joey Styles would say, and defeated Sabu in a wonderful match. A wonderful, wonderful match that, especially since Sabu sadly passed away, Taz is regarded as one of my favourites. And to be honest, it's one of mine as well. The feud and also this match was great. Now, your co-main event, a three-way dance, and the winner of that dance immediately goes on to face Raven for the ECW World Heavyweight Championship, Stevie Richards versus Terry Funk versus the Sandman. Big connotations here, all three men, especially Funk, will be very grateful for another shot at the ECW World title. Sandman does not really bring too much to this match other than a bit of sloppiness. The real meat and potatoes here is Terry Funk and Stevie Richards, but Sandman won't mind me saying that. We're best mates. He gave me a cameo for my 17th birthday.
Oh, Sean, this is the hardcore icon himself, the Sandman, sending you out a cameo. Happy 17th birthday shout out, dude.
That's why he is the GOAT. Terry Funk manages to outlast both Stevie Richards and Sandman, and he then goes on immediately, a little worse for wear, to face Raven for the ECW World title. Now, this portion of the match is absolutely insane. Tommy Dreamer is on commentary in Raven's Nest, which is just the area of commentary where Raven would often stalk from. So he's here watching all this. Terry Funk is, of course, his mentor. He actually gave Terry Funk his spot in the three-way dance match so that he could challenge for the belt, or have a chance to challenge for the belt, instead of Tommy Dreamer. That just shows you how good Tommy Dreamer is to Terry Funk and how much he cares about him. Reggie Bennett, who met Terry Funk in Japan, was actually part of his Royal Banquet Awards ceremony that happened the night before the show. Turns on him, hits a really bad powerbomb. Meanwhile, up in the crow's nest, Tommy Dreamer is fighting with Big Dick Dudley, and Big Dick Dudley falls through the table. And he gets in the ring, hits a DDT on Raven, which he very barely kicks out of. But then Terry Funk immediately goes for a small package and pins Raven. Terry Funk, covered in blood, boyhood dream, maybe not boyhood dream, but something similar to that, wins the ECW World Championship. And there you go, that is your review, little preview video of ECW Barely Legal 1997. Of course, this was only the beginning of ECW's pay-per-views right up until Guilty as Charged 2001, which was their final show, and I might even do a video on that. But guys, I've really enjoyed looking back on this pay-per-view. If you want more ECW content from me, whether it's shorts, pay-per-view reviews, anything like that, me looking back on this show or any show, let me know in the comments down below. I'd be more than happy to oblige. But until next time, I've been SeanMac. Thank you so much if you're still with me, if you're at this point, and hopefully I'll see you soon.
I like the idea. You just having some cider now. Let's not get too hardcore yet. You're not old enough.